If you're an executive woman and you crash in the afternoon, crave foods at night, and feel puffy by evening, this video's for you. I'm Ethan Gonzales, and I've helped hundreds of high performing women just like you stabilize their blood sugar and their energy so their body starts responding again. In the next 30 minutes, you'll identify which pattern you're stuck in and get the exact system to fix it. We'll cover over the main four patterns, what's causing them, and you'll get a 7-day plan to fix it step by step. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So, diving into the executive blood sugar performance system. This is exactly why you're crashing at 3 p.m., you're craving foods at 9 p.m., and you cannot lean out and lose that stubborn body fat after 40. This is about performance and body composition. And as always, it's not about your willpower, it's not about your discipline, it's about the chemistry that your body is currently having. Okay, so diving into everything here. Red flags of a stalled metabolism. What we typically find is afternoon puffiness. We see swollen, your rings feel a little bit tighter. Maybe your wedding band is getting tighter and tighter each year. Your face feels puffy by 3 to 4 p.m. After you eat lunch, you have brain fog. You're not really recalling as much as you used to. You're not sharp in meetings anymore. You might have evening hunger despite eating clean. You might have had a great dinner, chicken, potatoes, asparagus, but then you're still hungry and you're craving sweet or salty foods. You might have gained 20 to 30 pounds since 2020. This weight is kind of crept on. Maybe you've even gained a little bit more, maybe 35, 50 pounds, and you've been doing everything right. Now, these are all red flags that your metabolism is stuck in survival mode. What this really means is your body is prioritizing storage of fat over burning it, okay? This really declines your mental sharpness, and your mental energy is diverted from your typical leadership actions, and you're not showing up in the way that you used to. You feel like your presence is gone and you feel average or worse. You don't feel elite as you used to feel. So, this is what the real problem is. Your body is living on unstable fuel. What we typically find is you have spikes of energy, you have crashes, and then you get cravings. Your body is learning to store fat and protect yourself as opposed to shedding fat off. This is why your fat loss and your energy stall together, because you don't have energy to do anything, and then your body's protecting you and causing you to store more fat. It just overall diminishes you completely. This is what it looks like here. We see the spike of energy or cortisol. We see a big crash come in, 3 p.m. You start eating a little bit more. You have those cravings come up, and then your body's storing all that extra food that you just snacked on. So this is what the executive day that you probably are dealing with, and this is why it creates that instability. So 7 a.m., you wake up, you have coffee, boom, spikes your cortisol. Big issue, though, is that energy is really going to cut down a little bit. Maybe you get another cup of coffee in by 10 a.m., gives you some energy. You push through some meetings, for a couple hours. And then, you have a salad, right? You feel a little bit hungry, right? Energy just came down over those meetings. And then, again, we feel crashed. We eat a cookie. We eat a snack. We get something from a vending machine at work. And all of a sudden, we have that energy and it crashes again, right? And then you're just crash the entire day. Maybe you have another cup of coffee or an energy drink, or you try some tea, right? And then you're again coming back up after dinner and then crashing again in the evening. So you're stuck in this cycle of constant highs and lows between your energy and your mental sharpness, and it just burns you out because you never have a stable amount of energy or even high stable amounts of energy where you're able to push through these days consistently. Now, there's 4 main patterns that you could be. The first one is coffee first controller, okay? You're getting coffee right away in the morning. You're living off borrowed energy. You feel wired in the morning, you're hungry later than you should be, and the crash and cravings show up later. So instead of maybe crashing, earlier in the morning when you typically should be because your energy is drained. Maybe you should crash around 1 p.m. You're going to crash at 3, or you're going to crash at 6 when you're trying to make dinner for your kids. The second one is the responsible undereater, right? You're clean eating, but you can't lose any weight. right? You're eating light meals all day, salads, you're eating chicken, you're eating all the healthy foods. Maybe you're skipping meals even, right? But at night, your hunger becomes uncontrollable. You're trying to do everything you can to fight it off, but you catch yourself snacking every single night. The next one is the afternoon snacker. You go ahead by 3 p.m., you crash after having a normal day. You go ahead and you need something sweet or salty. Your cortisol is telling you, I need these sweet or salty foods. And then you might have another cup of coffee to try and hold you off till the evening. The last one is the nighttime rebounder. Okay, this is where cravings finally hit when you stop working. Work ends, your adrenaline drops, your brain wants quick comfort and fuel. You don't have any comfort throughout the day. You have no downtime. So when the evening comes, that's your time to decompress. That's when you go into the chips, the sweet foods, the popcorn, all these different things, which stalls your progress. Now, this is what the cost of borrowed energy looks like when you have coffee first thing. Overall, right, you have this coffee very early in the morning, maybe 7 a.m. You get this surge of energy, okay? It helps you to focus during meetings, which is all good, right? You get meetings, you have some focus blocks, maybe some high output of work during this time, but you're delaying your food intake because coffee suppresses your appetite, and you're relying solely on that caffeine for fuel, okay? So this is like you get a little bit of early morning productivity, but coffee only has a half-life of typically 6 to maybe even 12 hours. And so that caffeine is slowly going to deteriorate throughout the day. And you're going to get this afternoon and evening crash where you're also going to get this hunger coming up because you didn't eat anything and that caffeine blunted your appetite. And so we're going to see your energy start to surge down, right? By 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., now you're crashing. Later at night, you're also going to see a drop in blood sugar, which is going to cause you to want to eat more snacking, more foods. Your cognitive function is going to decrease, and it really feels like you have a very productive morning, and then by the evening, you're done. You can't work another hour. You try and go to another meeting late at night, and you're just not present. You're just not really there. You're not fully the way that you should be showing up. So the conclusion from this, though, is borrowing afternoon energy for morning focus results in significant late day performance costs and metabolic volatility. Okay. Now, this is the second, right? The responsible undereater, the clean eater who cannot lose. Okay. What we typically find is you eat responsible, light meals in the daytime. Light meals keep calories low, yet fail to stabilize your glucose because a lot of you are probably really skipping carbs completely. You're just like, oh, well, carbs are bad. I shouldn't be eating carbs. But if you watch the last video, you can see how strategic carbs are very important for dealing with insulin resistance, these cortisol imbalances, and really even your thyroid function. So we need to have carbs throughout the day. They're very important. They wouldn't be there if we weren't supposed to have them. And so we just need to strategically use them to keep your blood sugar normalized. Now, when we don't properly fuel our body during the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, we are going to have a massive glucose spike, and we're going to want all the things in the pantry. We're going to want all the sweet foods, all the carbs, all the sugar as a result of not properly setting up the beginning of the day. So this results in massive evening compensation. The resulting nighttime hunger feels like a lack of discipline, but it's actually delayed metabolic rebound. I've worked with so many different women who complained, Ethan, I struggle so much with eating at night. I snack, I binge, I do all these things. And instead of just saying, oh, maybe it's emotional eating, which sometimes it is, and we work with those women, the bigger thing that I find is this issue right here. You're trying to be too perfect in the beginning of the day. You're cutting out all your carbs. You're relying on caffeine. And then your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, spike completely at night. And you just can't resist because you've completely underate the entire day. So we need to balance the day's food out a lot more. What we typically do with clients is we have little smaller meals throughout the day, right? I know you guys are busy, right? So sometimes it's hard to eat. Sometimes it's easier to skip the meal. But if we reduce caffeine intake and we also go ahead and set up times throughout the day where we're more proactive with food rather than really being reactive and just being like, oh, what do I eat? Oh, I guess I'll eat some pretzels, right? We have more protein with those meals. We have structured carbs. We have a good amount of fat with them as well. We actually stabilize your blood sugar, and then you don't get the evening crashes anymore. So that's the thing we're always trying to avoid, because we don't want to spike your blood sugar throughout the day. We want to have consistent levels, consistent amounts of food, and also make sure you're eating enough throughout the day. Biggest issue that I find with a lot of women that we work with. Now, after lunch, another thing that we typically find is there's a fatigue and a snacking cycle, as we covered in the third one there. Okay, what this really looks like is we can have a lot of different things going on. So post lunch, we have some fatigue, irritability. We're going to want some food. Maybe we have more coffee because we're fatigued. Maybe we have something from the vending machine, a quick snack because we're not being proactive, we're being reactive. And then this micro binge keeps you stuck in this cycle. Okay, it gives you a little bit of energy, a little bit of focus, but your waistline is expanding because you're spiking your insulin and your blood sugar. And what does this do? It keeps you in this loop, because tomorrow, what are you going to do? The same thing. You're going to need coffee in the morning. You're going to crave it. You drink the coffee, pushes off your hunger. You're hungry later. What do? You eat a snack, and then you're hungry again, and your waist just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So you're stuck in a cycle. We need to stop the cycle at the root cause, which is exactly what we're talking about today. Now, this piece here is all about how workday adrenaline masks your hunger, okay? So when your task stops, this plummets your stress hormones and glucose ignite, okay? This overall gives you couch cravings where, hey, you're on the couch, you're eating all these different foods. It also makes you crave those comfort foods because you haven't rested all day. And it turns decomposition and decompression time into scheduled overfeeding. Okay, so what we typically look at day by day, we see this pattern, again, of high adrenaline and stress. You're doing all these tasks, you're working a lot, your adrenaline and cortisol are going up, you're always in fight or flight, and this causes your hunger hormones to be masked down, right? You don't really notice it. Then after work, when this cortisol finally gets a little bit of a break, you finally get a little bit less adrenaline, you're out of fight or flight a little bit, you're going to start crashing and craving these different foods. Right? The sweet foods, the junk foods, the things that make you feel horrible, but you still want them because you want to feel comfortable for once in the day. Now, your body's survival setting is to stabilize blood sugar at all costs. When fuel feels inconsistent, your body prioritizes storage and stability. It means that it becomes harder for you to access that storage of fat because your body is in such a hyper state. You're not allowing your body to relax. You're not allowing your body to get consistent food throughout the day. You're constantly using stimulants, which is ultimately leading you to feel very stuck. And your body is going to value safety over aesthetics every single time. So if you've been trying to lose fat for a really long time, take a look at your day to day. What does it look like? Do you start with coffee first thing in the morning? Probably a big red flag. We typically want to wait anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes before even drinking our first cup of caffeine so that we allow the adenosine stores to fully be replenished and we're not just causing ourselves to crash later. We also want to make sure that we start breakfast with some protein too. Start with protein, 30 grams of protein, at least for most of the women that we work with. We also want to make sure there's healthy fats in there, carbs, easy things to do, eggs, Greek yogurt. You can even have, chicken sausage. There's so many things you can do for breakfast that are much, much better than just a banana, right? Or nothing, right? A lot of the women that we work with eat nothing. And then by lunch, maybe they have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And by dinner, maybe they have a couple bites of something and that's it, right? So most women we work with are actually under eating as a result of stress, as a result of caffeine. It causes your hunger hormones to be diminished. You are suppressing your appetite throughout the day, which is causing fat loss to be harder because you assume, again, so many people assume this, that it's a discipline problem, right? That you're not working out hard enough or not eating too little. And so you eat less, you work out more. And it just causes your body to be stuck in this loop of protection. And we need to fix that cycle. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Now, glucose oscillations, the hidden swelling signal, your body's response to unstable fuel, visible before the scale changes. So again, this comes back to throughout the day, we're eating inconsistently, so your glucose is going to be spiking. What this can really trigger is inflammation, water retention, rings feeling tight, or your face being swollen by night. Okay. This really reflects in your body, in the metabolic chaos that you're experiencing before the scale does. But for a lot of you, this stuff's been going on for a long time. And so this isn't anything new. And the scale has really started to react, right? You've gained 20 to 30 pounds since 2020, right? Everyone made the excuse of COVID. Oh, it's COVID. I can't work out. Can't do anything. Obviously, we had clients during COVID who were seeing amazing results. They were losing weight, even though they're busy, even though stuff was going crazy, right? But for a lot of you, you made the excuse of, oh, COVID's the reason why I can't lose weight. But now it's been a couple years, right? So you can't really make the same excuses anymore. Or, oh, I had kids 10 years ago, right? That's a big one that we hear. Of course, yes, you had kids. That changes your hormones. Things change. But you're probably going through perimenopause and menopause now. That's a different hormonal fluctuation. Again, there's a root cause for all your problems, but you have to be proactive about solving them and not just settle, right? You haven't settled in anything in your life, in your career, in your day by day. Why settle for your body and just allow yourself to deal with all these really symptoms day by day that can all be eliminated? The inflammation, the water retention, the puffiness in your face. You don't even feel like yourself anymore. Why settle for that? Why not actually change it and start taking steps to change that? Now, the real problem is your brain fog is the fuel problem, okay? So when we live life in such a stressed environment and we're not properly fueling our body, your body is going to live on unstable fuel. When it comes down to caffeine, your body's demanding steady glucose, but you don't have it, so you have volatility. And your decision-making speed is going to be reduced. You're going to have brain fog consistently. And you're going to lose your executive edge, which is the thing that we see most with a lot of the women. They come to us, they're like, Ethan, I used to be so sharp in my mind. I used to feel so confident in meetings. I had this presence. And now day by day, I just don't have it. I'm not at the level that I used to be. And I feel like I lost who I was. You've gone up in your career ladder, you've gotten promotions, but you feel like you're very junior, even though you should be very senior. And people are starting to notice you're getting potentially overlooked for the next promotion. And it just feels like you're not yourself anymore. And it's super normal. So if you're feeling that, I get it, right? A lot of the women we work with do, but it's something that can be fixed and you don't have to live with it for the rest of your life. Now, training as a stress multiplier. Big issue that we find is that, again, you're underfueled in your body and you're trying to amplify your cortisol by training harder, doing HIIT classes, doing group stuff. Yes, there's camaraderie, but you are making your cortisol worse and this problem overall worse because you have underfueled training. This is causing your cortisol and your hunger to surge. You have more stress, and then your recovery and your fat release is diminished. Okay. We also find, hey, a lot of the people that we work with, you guys are taking pre-workout or caffeine before your workout. Again, that's going to cause your glucose to have imbalances, and you're going to be training hard, and then that caffeine is going to suppress your appetite, so you're not really going to eat, and then you're going into work, and you are just completely fried. And what are you going to do? What do you think you're going to do when you're completely fried? And you just feel drained because of your workout. You're going to drink more caffeine. Like, it's the most common thing. You're going to drink more caffeine, or you're going to be like, oh, I need something sweet. I need some energy. Candy bar, food, whatever it may be. Either way, it's going to continue to keep you in this cycle, okay? Now, your body needs a baseline. It needs something stable. It doesn't need perfection. A lot of the women that we work with think they have to be perfect in everything. They think, oh, I need a huge workout plan, crazy, so many different things. I need this amazing food plan. Every single day, I eat the same exact thing. And I need to get so much things done in terms of my steps every single day. Yes, those are all important things, but we have to look at the root cause first and realize that if we try and be perfect, it's probably going to cause more stress than actually helping you, right? If you overthink about everything you need to be doing and you aren't perfect, you're going to end up saying, screw it, I can't be perfect, I shouldn't even try. Imperfect action beats perfect action every time because a lot of the times you can't be perfect and your lives are so busy. There's so many different things going on. You're never going to be 100% perfect. So what we want to do is just do very simple things. Okay. The simple thing to do every morning is eat a balanced breakfast. Okay. Something simple, right? Not just like an egg, right? Maybe have 3 eggs, have a piece of toast, and have honestly maybe some chicken sausage or some Greek yogurt with some berries, right? Something simple that allows you to get a good amount of protein in, a good amount of fats in, some carbs in as well, and overall start your day balanced and don't drink any caffeine for the first 90 minutes. Once you get to work, if you commute or if you're working from home, it's even easier. We work with both, right? Some people travel too, right? So we have to plan things. But really, if you start your day in that way and you don't drink any caffeine in the morning and you have actual food, you will feel so much better, okay? Some women we work with, we cut caffeine out for a little bit of time. Some we just decrease and we drink it a little bit later. And that makes a world difference in terms of your energy levels and making sure that you aren't crashing by 3 p.m. Another thing we can look at is doing lab work, right? We can also introduce supplementation if you have any sort of adrenal issues. A big issue that we find with women is when your adrenal glands are overtaxed, your cortisol's been really hitting you hard for a long time. Your cortisol goes from high to low, and we need to actually support your adrenal glands properly so your body can produce cortisol at the right rate and make sure that your hormones are also being produced too. Okay, as you go into menopause, the only thing that's going to produce hormones is your adrenal glands. Your ovaries are going to start really slowing down and stop working. So the only place we can get any hormones is from your adrenal glands. And if they're taxed and completely fatigued, you won't have any sex hormones either. So that's a whole other topic. But realistically, we want to make sure your body is operating at the best possible rate that it can. Make sure that you overall have your adrenal glands in place. Make sure that your hormones in place, and make sure that your stress is normalized. So really, we also want to make sure that we implement some sort of movement each day. Okay, this can look like after each meal, 5-10 minute walk. At your lunch break, walk around the building, walk around your house, right? For me, it's Michigan, so it's really cold out. But for a lot of you, I bet you can probably go outside or get a walking pad, get a standing desk, right? Make it happen, right? You can definitely get steps in, you can definitely get activity in, and this will again fix a lot of the glucose issues. Final piece, which we find with a lot of women, we want to have kind of a nighttime routine. Make sure we're not going on our phone late at night. Make sure we're not eating right before we go to bed. Making sure that we could even take some supplementation here, magnesium glycinate. We could take some glycine too, inositol as well. These things can all help us get better sleep, which will give us more energy throughout the day. So executives, really, they win with standards, not a motivation, right? This isn't something that you should feel, you need to feel super motivated to do. It should be something that you're like, hey, I'm slipping, I'm falling off my edge. I want to get back to being elite. I'm going to follow a very standard practice and just do it every single day. It's very easy. It's not hard. Okay. So here's a 3-part sequence that we can do where, again, we want to not be perfect, but we want to follow this as best as we can. Okay. If we can even do 2 out of 3 of these things for the first week, that's fine. First thing, we want to blunt the morning cortisol spikes. Okay. Make sure we have protein in the first meal. Second, we want to stabilize, prevent those afternoon crashes, right? Utilize walking, strategic snacks, healthy snacks, right? Things that are actually going to give you energy before your hunger hits. Third thing, we want to protect at nighttime, make sure we're not grazing foods all the time, and make sure that we overall are decompressing in proper ways, okay? So first thing, right? Balanced meal, right? We want to have slow digesting carbs. We want to have protein. We want to have veggies in the morning, making sure that we're keeping our glucose levels stable. We also want to make sure that this helps you to delay the actual hunger that we need. It delays those cravings, and it gives you improved focus and better metabolic control throughout the entire day, okay? So this approach of just having a good breakfast, no caffeine right away, will make sure that you don't have any spikes in the morning, make sure that you don't crash at night, and you don't crash in the afternoon, and you're not having these cravings throughout the day. Second piece, making sure that we implement a 10-minute walk post-meal and make sure that we have a balanced snack before your energy dips. We want to make sure that you prevent these issues. Again, being more proactive rather than reactive in situations. When we get a small 10-minute walk, it's going to blunt the glucose spikes that you have. It's going to improve your insulin sensitivity, and it's going to prioritize your health, right? Big thing that I notice with a lot of women, they say they don't have the time, they're super busy, they can't prioritize their health. A lot of you have the opportunity, if you work from home or if you even work at an office, a lot of the places that I've seen now and a lot of the clients we're working with will get standing desks. This desk I have right here is a standing desk. I could literally raise it up, grab my walking pad, put it underneath, and walk. Nobody cares. You're improving your health. You need to do these things. If you're going to go on Zoom and you got to show your face, you can walk. Maybe they won't let you. Fine. But a lot of you sit on Zoom with your cameras off anyways, right? And why are you sitting with your camera off? Because you don't feel as confident as you should be. So this overall is the promise that it will help you. Okay, balanced snack, right? We want to make sure we have protein, fiber, right? So this can be Greek yogurt in the midday. This can be some almonds throughout the day, but not grazing and snacking on almonds. Okay, there's a big difference between like, hey, I'm going to have a handful of almonds and I'm going to have a bag of almonds. Okay, so just make sure we're correct there. And then making sure that we have these blocks throughout the day to really give you time to prioritize your health. Treat these blocks as if they're a meeting, okay? So what I mean by that is your walk is mandatory. Eating is mandatory. Resting for a couple minutes is mandatory. You guys are busy, but you can more than likely put 5 minutes on your calendar. You live by your Google Calendar or by whatever calendar choice you use. I live by Google Calendar, but you have the time to do these things. Start doing them consistently. Final piece is to protect, okay? So what we want to do with this is set a consistent evening meal window to signal your system to wind down. We want to replace food with an activity that calms your nervous system. This could be reading a book. This could be taking a warm bath. This could be doing some yoga, stretching. This could be just relaxing. Just do anything. Play with your kids. I don't care, right? Like, it doesn't matter, but it has to be something that fulfills you and makes you feel decompressed. Final thing, remove the snacks, okay? So if you have a bunch of these things in your house, you're more than likely going to eat them. So the better job is to just not even let the temptation be there. Obviously, you want certain things, your kids want certain things. Just don't eat your kids' food. Put a sticker on it. Say it's just for Timmy, right? And then just don't touch it. Or go ahead and just don't buy it for your kids either, because you want to be healthier. You should set the example for your family. A lot of the women that I work with, the most important thing they have in their mind is, I want to be the role model for my family and set a clear example. Your husband may also be slacking in his health. Your kids most likely are going to be slacking too. It doesn't typically work in the sense of the kids are super healthy and the parents are unhealthy. Typically, your actions impress on your kids, and your kids will make the same decisions you make. So if you decide, hey, it's pizza night, what are they going to eat? Pizza. If you decide, hey, we're going to go get ice cream, what are they going to get? Ice cream. Not to demonize those foods and say you can never eat pizza and ice cream when you're working on your health, but I'm just showing the example that your health matters greatly for their lives. And so you need to set a clear example for them of, hey, mom and dad are going to get into shape. We're going to be healthy because you guys need to be healthy too. The obesity rates in children is up an astronomical amount recently. And the reason why is because there's so much processed food and the parents just buy it for their kids because their kids say they want it. Set the example. Say no to your kids. Say we're going to eat healthy foods. We're going to eat not processed foods every single day. And you get to decide because you're the adult. Like, your kids don't get to decide if they eat something or not. And if they are trying to decide that, hey, I'm not going to judge your parenting, but like, you guys should set that example for them is all I'm trying to say. You can decide what foods your family buys, what foods your family eats. And a lot of the times it is way less expensive than these, horrible foods for you. It'll make you feel better. It'll make your family feel better. Everyone will be healthier, and your kids will not grow up with the same habits that you're trying to break right now. If you set the example for them now, it'll set them up for life. They'll understand the difference between how they feel eating bad foods and how they feel eating good foods, and they will start to make the change on that. A little bit of a rant there, but I want you guys to make sure that you are being the role model for your family. Now, if you snack, right, a lot of women do it intentionally, okay? Snacks are a tool. They can be implemented throughout the day, right? But you don't want to be eating snacks that do not benefit you. Okay, so don't be eating chips all day. Don't be eating cookies, right? Not to demonize those foods. You can still eat them, But that should not be your first go-to pick. It should be something with protein. It should be something with healthy fats. It should be something that gives you energy. A big thing that I say with a lot of the women that I work with is like no naked carbs, right? What I mean by that is don't just eat something that is just straight carbs, chips. Don't just eat crackers, pretzels. If you're going to have something like that, add some healthy fats in, peanut butter, add some healthy fats in, eat a hard boiled egg, eat some yogurt with it, right? Something that can give you more stabilized energy. Keep it consistent throughout the week. Have a bunch of different options. That's what we do with a lot of our clients. Like you can have as many different options of snacks. We'll do it for you so you don't even have to think about it. But you can have as many options as you want throughout the week. So it's very easy for you to be, again, proactive in situations, not reactive. You're not just going to the vending machine, getting Cheez-Its, getting some cookies or whatever. You have something set in place. You're prepared so that if you were to get hungry, you're able to go. Big thing that helps. Now, again, a lot of our women, they travel, they eat dinner out. You guys are normal, right? You're not professional bodybuilders. You're not going to eat the same thing every day. You're not going to stick to chicken and rice every single meal. We have to make sure it's something that you're able to stick to because, again, perfection is not the goal. Longevity is. Your health is not a short time frame. Your health is the rest of your life. So we should treat it as that. We need something that works for the rest of your life, not for a short amount of time. So we want to overall, whenever we eat out, just prioritize protein and fiber. Really walk in to dinner whenever possible. So easy thing to do, park further away. Get extra steps in. That simple. We want to make sure that you overall are protecting your sleep during this time too. So try not to drink a lot of alcohol whenever you guys go out. It really messes with your deep sleep and it will cause you to continue in the cycle. Try to eliminate alcohol. It's normal to have it. We have clients who drink every single week, but we always tell them, hey, your sleep and your health will probably be better if you don't do it, right? The recommendation is probably 1 to 2 drinks a week max, right? I typically say to clients, hey, if you're going to drink, do it maybe 1 or 2 times a month, 1 or 2 drinks only. That way, and it matters for the client, right? If you're somebody who really has a really strong goal and you want to accomplish it in a very specific amount of time, or you have really bad imbalances, or your sleep is already bad, or your cortisol is already messed up, we may eliminate it if you want that. Or if you are already close to your goal, you're already at your goal, we're helping you to maintain it or working on a different goal, then we may change the rules a little bit. It's all dependent on the person and where they're at. But realistically, we want your plan to survive, whether you have a trip coming up, whether you're going to travel, whether you have to go to a board dinner or you're going out with your coworkers, right? We don't want you to hate your life. It's all about longevity. It's all about making sure that it is sustainable. So we have to incorporate those things. You can eat a burger. You can eat fries. Those are all fine things, but we have to plan for it. Now, if you're looking for certainty around labs, which is a big thing that we do with clients, these are some easy tests that you can try and ask your doctor to get. It's, again, a rigmarole to try and get stuff done through your doctor. You can try it. These are the things I recommend. Make sure you get fasting glucose, fasting insulin, A1C, any lipids so we can see kind of metabolic health, and also a thyroid panel, okay? With the thyroid panel, this is going to be probably the hardest one to ask your doctor for. They may try and get you to go to an endocrinologist. You may have to go through a long process of getting things tested. They may not want to get the test done. This is what we typically get for clients. So we get TSH, we get free T3, we get T4, we get reverse T3, and we'll also sometimes get TPO antibodies if there are any autoimmune or inflammation imbalances as well. These are all important tests so we can see, is there an issue with your thyroid or your metabolism and your health around that. So these are big things. We love to test. We don't guess in these scenarios. If you have persistent symptoms, if you've been dealing with it for a long time, lab work is 100% the way to go. Now, this is what the system can look like, really. 7-day system, very simple to follow. What this looks like is we want to have a strong morning meal. We want to have a walk after each meal if possible. We want to have snacks planned out so you know what to eat throughout the day. We don't want to have caffeine in the morning at least 90 minutes after we wake up. Then you can drink caffeine. And you want to have a ritual for your bedtime. Something simple that you can follow, 10, 15 minutes, decompress a little bit, focus on yourself. That's very simple to follow. Really just do these 5 things for the next 7 days and you will start to feel a lot better. Your energy will start to be a lot better. Now, if it doesn't feel better and there's no change at all, then I would recommend getting lab work done and seeing if there is any deeper rooted issues, especially if you're dealing with a lot of symptoms, right? If you're dealing with craving salty or sweet foods, you're waking up between 2 and 4 a.m., you're overall feeling wired but tired, you have a lot of brain fog, you have a lot of fatigue throughout the day. Like if you have some of these things, lab work's the way to go. And the way that we get lab work done is very specific. We want to get lab work done fasted, okay, at least 12 hours. And if you're testing for cortisol, we need to test within the first hour of waking, okay? Why I stress this so much is we need to see what the morning cortisol looks like. Your morning cortisol can determine a lot of different things in terms of what's going on. So if you get morning cortisol done and it's high, then of course you have high cortisol. If you get morning cortisol done and it's low, then we have low cortisol and we have more of adrenal fatigue, which means we need to balance in the opposite direction. High cortisol, people can take ashwagandha, people can do more meditation things, they can try and drink less caffeine. Low cortisol, we actually want to do somewhat of the opposite. We want to support your adrenal glands and bring your cortisol up, right? It sounds very strange, but we want to bring cortisol back to baseline. We want to get your DHEA also back to baseline, and we want to get your pregnenolone as well back to baseline. Doing these things improves your hormonal health in terms of your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, your thyroid, and insulin resistance, any insulin sensitivity issues that you have, high inflammation levels, and it helps your cortisol so that you have a lot more energy throughout the day. Now, for some of our clients, when it comes down to cortisol, we can also do Dutch testing. Okay, this is testing that we do throughout the day to see what cortisol markers look like throughout the day. Some women, what we notice is their cortisol is low in the morning, high at night. That means your circadian rhythm is off. It means your cortisol is completely off as well. And we need to actually reverse that. So we'll do supplementation to fix that. But that's what we're trying to do. Okay, just to be clear, that's what it would look like if you were to be a client and we were to do a little bit more in-depth look in terms of cortisol, labs, Dutch testing, things like that. Now, this is what really changes first. Okay, when we start working on your health, the biggest things that we find with women very quickly within the first couple weeks, especially if we do lab work and supplementation, we could be more targeted. We see fewer crashes, more sustained energy throughout the day, less puffiness at night, reduced water retention and inflammation. We see better sleep, more restorative sleep cycles. So if you use like an Oura ring, right, very simple to use, you can wear it while you sleep. We can see what sleep numbers look like. Whoop is also a very good one as well. We can see more energy and calm throughout the day too. And you don't need as much snacking. You have fewer cravings. Okay, these are the leading indicators of metabolic environment shifting. Often happens before scale weight dips, but for a lot of our clients, when we fix a lot of these issues, they're also losing weight too. It's not like it's separate. These are kind of in tandem things that happen, okay? Now, the transformation will look like this. Before the chaos cycle, this is what you're dealing with now. We're using a lot of caffeine. We're eating small meals, if skipping meals, if not eating at all. We have late night snacking, right? The second piece, we want to anchor with protein-rich breakfasts. We want to have walks. We want to have calm evenings. And then afterwards, we finally get all these things in place. We're going to get steady energy. We're going to get controlled cravings. We're going to have a lot better glucose throughout the day, a lot better cortisol metrics, a lot better inflammation metrics, less bloating, less puffiness, better sleep, and less crashes. So all of these things are looking to increase your energy, control your cravings, and get your waist to respond in the right direction. Now, this is the system. The real problem you're typically dealing with is unstable fuel. You have overall spikes, crashes, cravings, and your body is storing and protecting fat. What we want is a baseline. Okay, we want your body to be in a good foundational spot. We want your energy to be restored, and this can happen through having similar breakfast structures on most days, making sure protein is high, making sure you have movement throughout the day, and making sure that you have a good restorative nighttime practice as well. This is not willpower again. It's not about discipline. It's about chemistry in your body. Your calendar is elite. Your metabolism is adapting to survive it. So if you want this executive stability checklist and you want to know how you can start following it, go ahead on this YouTube video, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment stable, and I'll be able to send it over to you. The easier way though, okay, what I typically say, the easiest way to get in contact and get things from me is to go to my Instagram, at Gonzales Coaching on Instagram, follow me, and then DM me the word fuel and I can send you the checklist in a much easier way. And you can receive the checklist and next step protocols so you can go ahead and feel a lot better, stop getting crashes, and fix your bloating. So, again, if you're somebody who has watched through this video and you're like, hey, I'd be really interested in learning how I could get some lab work done, or how I could fix some of these imbalances, or hey, I want the checklist, just go ahead, go to my Instagram at Gonzales Coaching, DM me the word fuel, and I'll go ahead and send it right over.